You should be able to totally hear me now. Yes. All right. Perfect. So now, beautiful friends, let me start that all over. With the monkey bug now being declared an emergency in Illinois, the Earth's wobble and rotation is in a accelerated mode as a solar storm is heading in our direction tomorrow, I believe, actually. Where will the next earthquakes take place, and what's going on with Biden's health? All that and a whole lot more today on episode number 26 of Tittle Teatime Predictions Updates. And I'm Tittle, Joseph Tittel, that is, aka Spiritman JT. And I welcome you back to my channel. I welcome you to my channel. And I thank you so, still no sound. What do you mean there's no sound? Sound. Loud and clear. I don't know what the heck these people are thinking. You need to turn your volume up, my friends. Turn your volume up. Anyway, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my channel. My name is Joseph Tittel, aka Spiritman JT. And I thank you all so much for tuning into this episode number 26 of my predictions. And today we are going to be talking about August predictions specifically. If you are new to the channel, again, welcome. I hope you like the content and the very accurate predictions that I provide each and every Tuesday. The time shifted to a little bit later because last week my internet connection was much better at a later time. So that's why I'm here later this week, and I'm here every Tuesday. So now it's more like 5:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Eastern time. Down below, you'll find all the descriptions for my social media, including the Awaken Your Spirit community on Subscribestar, where members on level 2 or higher, I now post all my notes and predictions from the show and anything else I come across. Plus, we do monthly chats and so much more. Also down below, you'll find the link to my latest newsletter. You're going to want to check that out. Every newsletter I put out different information and message about the energies that I channel through from Spirit, along with videos that you may have missed, a special discount on readings that are going fast. There's only a few left, and including discounts on upcoming classes, which are almost full as well. Thank you, Zoli, for your chat cash with infinite love and gratitude. So, also, look for me on Twitch. I don't know nothing about Twitch, but I'm on there. And I just got Streamlabs, and I have to figure it all out. But if you look for me under Spiritman JT, and the links down below as well in the description, along with my PayPal. For those that send things through PayPal, I'm very grateful. And I am grateful to anybody that done that. Did anybody do that today? I'm sure they will. So moving right along. Something else I wanted to tell. Oh, and all my work is copyrighted, by the way, as a reminder to those who like to come to my channel and steal my content and claim it as their own. So the month of August ushers in the beginning stages of Mother Earth's birth cycle. And guess what, my friends? Mother Earth, she's having quintuplets. Quintuplets. Did I say that right? Quintuplets or quintuplets? With any birth cycle. This can bring intense pains to humanity, but also can bring in a renewal backed by new truths and new technologies that take our entire planet to amazing new levels. It may not feel so good as we go passing through Mother Earth's womb starting this month in August, and it will be a long labor giving new birth for both Mother Earth and all of us, her children. This includes renewal and more attention on Mother Earth's creatures, the animals, the fish, the wildlife, the waters, and the forest. Something desperately needed, as many new species will sadly go on the extinction lists over the next few months. August is an 8th month, which brings great focus to our economy and stock markets. Lots of ups and downs can be expected with huge falls in markets by November. In numerology, August is a 5-month, which ensures us all that the road ahead is going to be a bumpy one. This time cycle that we just entered into, which we are just stepping into, by the way, and will last throughout the rest of this year, is bound to bring out emotions on a whole other level, especially when we approach the full moon cycles. New moons too, but especially the full moon cycles. This is a time that we must care and nurture for ourselves. And you will find that the universe and the divine spirit will force you to do so. And you don't want that to happen. So remember that. And those who do not beckon to Mother Earth's call of self-nurturing may likely find themselves facing issues around the body, mind, and the spirit. These issues can and will bring out health issues and point out exactly how we need to take better care of ourselves, or else. You don't want that or else. These energies will only intensify more and more as we enter into September and October, with even an eclipse that comes up in October and I believe another one in November. With the new moon that just rolled in last week and leading up to the full moon, which is about 12 days away, we can expect huge truths to actually begin to be leaked out and revealed. Both personal truths and universal truths. So it's not just about truth on the planet, but it's your own personal truths as well. In order for us to grow and expand, we have to let go of that which holds us back. And a lot of that is the truth we wish not to speak. So, I lost my spot. So the 5-month numerology, by the way, also and throughout the whole month of August is a guarantee that major change and transformation is coming. Without a doubt, all the alignments that are happening, the numbers, it all speaks about major transformation and change. The 5 energy can make you a bit restless because I don't know about you, but last night I could not sleep last night. And I was up at 6 a.m. this morning, wide awake, ready to go. My dog was still asleep till 6:45. So it can make you much more restless, but the 5 energy can also bring out your adventurous side. It causes us to seek out change, and it piques our curiosity all at the same time, which is going to help to bring out more and more truth, because when something's revealed, it piques people's curiosity and they dig deeper or go down those rabbit holes. We might not need to go down too many rabbit holes. Those rabbit holes might just come to us, or the rabbits might just come to us with the information. Excuse me. Tea time. Try not to allow this energy to sabotage you in any way, because this energy is known to do that as well, the 5 vibration that is. Change is absolutely inevitable in August, both personally and universally. So stay focused on the positive self changes instead of what's happening in the world, to be the best version of you that you can possibly be, and to do what is right for the body, mind, and spirit. Lastly, whatever you do, do not give up on anything, nothing at all. Be patient, keep giving it a whirl, and with time, with the willingness and needed changes that may need to take place, it'll all succeed. It can be a very positive, successful time period too, especially with the 8 vibration, especially if you're doing anything with business, anything like that. Before we enter into that pre-shadow retrograde energy, which isn't until the very end of the month, so not really much to worry about till we hit September. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell and all, to ensure that you get notifications. Again, you know I'm here every Tuesday now at 5:30, so always keep an eye out. I only post it right before I go live. Maybe 10, 15 minutes before I go live, I post the link. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button to show these algorithms that hopefully will help me to pop up, and other things pop up on your feed more often, and so that you actually get the notifications. And even if you've done all that, double check your notifications. They mysteriously get turned off from time to time. And always check your cellular devices as well. So before I move on, again, don't forget to find me on Twitch under Spiritman JT. The link's down below. And the newsletter. Again, the newsletter down below, you're going to want to open that up. In the top left corner, you'll see subscribe. Subscribe to that newsletter. So if anything happens, you'll still be able to get connected to me through the newsletter. Make sure you put newsletter@josephtittel.com on your contact list so that you get the emails. And don't use that email, because we don't access that email at all. We just use it for the newsletter. You've got mail. So I just want to take a quick moment to give thanks for this beautiful card that was sent to me by the beautiful Margaret in Canada, who says, Joseph, a warm greetings from Canada. She says she don't do online banking, so she was so kind to put cash in my envelope. in the card, which was so generous and so kind. Just thought I would send this along to you to let you know how much I look forward to your videos. Hugs and much love, Margaret. Thank you, Margaret, with so much love and gratitude. That was so kind, and it's a beautiful card. I save beautiful cards. And I leave them out for a while, too, to remind me of the gratitude and such, even if it's a birthday card. Always leave them out, and I actually one of the people that save cards because they always end up showing up like certain times when you need that card from that person that wrote it to you years ago, even people that passed. It's kind of interesting. Like when I was moving, packing all my stuff up to move across country, it was a very challenging time, and it was Valentine's Day. I was sitting on the floor going through stuff, and suddenly a Valentine's Day card appeared, which is actually over here somewhere. That was written by my mother. So things can show up for us by the spirits. The spirits love to give us validation that they're around, and there's no coincidence that a Valentine's Day card shows up on Valentine's Day from my mama, who was already gone 18 years. So interesting. So for those who are new, we talk about some of the events that are happening in the world. And today I have a whole lot of predictions for you. And I had a lot of news stories to cover, but I took them all out because I spent all day, at least 6 hours, doing all this, preparing this for you beautiful friends. So we cover past predictions, things that have come true. Like I was saying about assassinations, it's the first on my list. Assassinations. In my past predictions, as you know, I said there'd be a lot of leaders of countries, CEOs, and what have you, exiting, whether they're resigning, being pushed out, assassinated, and so forth. Well, the news, you don't already know this, but the United States killed the Al-Qaeda leader. President B announces that the U.S. killed Al-Qaeda's ideological leader in a strike in Afghanistan. Plus, wildfires ravaged California. We don't need to know that. That's in this article. But interesting that Justice Delivered President B announced tonight that the U.S. killed Ayman Zawahiri in an airstrike in Kabul, according to the president. There are no civilian casualties. I just think it's interesting that they, go over there and just use their drones to assassinate people. Like, I thought that war was done and over with, right? Didn't we pull out of there? Wasn't that supposed to be done and over with? But this just goes along the lines of people being assassinated that are leaders. Not that this person's a good person or likely a bad person more than anything. And supposedly the mastermind behind 911, the event, not the phone call. And so he is a leader of a group, a big group, that made a mark on the world, a very negative mark. So this goes hand in hand with the assassination prediction that I made in the past. And this is what's going to keep continuing, my friends. We're going to see more and more events like assassinations, leaders falling, and I got some more information about who and what to expect coming up. But let me move on to the next article. The pox brought on by the monkey. My dear friend sent me this information, and this is from an article. I'm going to quote former U.S. Food and Drug Administration Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb warned earlier this month it may be too late to contain the outbreak, telling CBS the window for getting control of this and containing it is probably closed. That's real positive thinking, right? Real positive. Because as I said in the beginning when I first connected with you all, sorry, my microphone was off. I forgot to turn it on. My bad. I should have good positive sound now. Illinois just declared this monkey bug a emergency. But New York became the second state to declare, New York City, in New York, the second state to declare an emergency. It was actually San Francisco that was first. Now we have the state of Illinois. I want you, I got some predictions around this too, that the pox will turn into something more serious, especially those who are affected by it, who end up with more serious health issues later. Doesn't that sound kind of familiar with something else? And the long-term issues that happen later, anything to confuse so that we can figure out where it all began. And people, this is what was sad to me that Spirit gave me today, is that people won't even recognize that. You know, for a long time, they probably won't recognize that this person had the pox, and then maybe a year or two later, they end up with something serious that they don't at all relate to them having the bout of the monkey bug. There's a website, nancythomasindiana.org. That's Nancy, N, Thomas, T, Indiana, I.org. You know how they always put things out in front of us? I tell you about it all the time. They put things out in front of us and they show us basically they're they have war games, but now I'm going to call them bug games. And they did it back in 2019 before 2020 hit. And they did one revolved around the monkeys. And it's all on that website. You can go look it out for yourself. But on the website, they showed the different scenarios and their preparation. And I don't have all the moves in front of me. You can find them on the website. But move number one, I thought move number two is interesting. 83 countries affected, 70 million cases. And this is the date they say, by January 10th, 2023. 83 countries affected. And remember, this was put out either, I forget if it was earlier this year or last year, the end of last year. I don't have that in front of me, but you can find that on that website. 83 countries affected, 70 million cases, 1.3 million deaths. Now, I don't pay attention much to news or anything, but apparently I didn't hear about any deaths related to it. Again, I could be wrong. I don't know. So let me know down in the comments any of your feedback, because I do pay attention to your feedback down below. The second thing on this list is monkeypox engineered to be vax resistant. National responses, effects of early action, international supply chain challenges. That's the scenario. The key issues, benefits of predetermined triggers for national response, and international supply chain challenges. So something to look into. So I'm not going to go into it all here, but just something really interesting that I've known about for a while, but I can't do a whole thing about it. Remember, I've said in the past that there would be outbreaks of new diseases and new bacteria. I even said at one point that there'd be a return of the plague, which actually happened. I forget where at, what country, but more likely a few years ago after I said that happened, but something like it. I said the plague or something like it. Could this be it? Potentially. But let me tell you about this. Just came to me about new outbreaks, bacteria, and diseases. N like Nancy, T like Tom, I like Indiana, .org. Somebody asked in the chat room for that. Potential deadly bacteria detected in U.S. soil. On July 28th, a potentially deadly bacteria has been found in U.S. soil and water samples for the first time, according to a new alert from the CDC. The bacteria, I can't pronounce that word, whatever it is. Here, maybe Siri will pronounce it for you. Ready? She's not saying anything. Oh, well. The bacteria was found along the Gulf Coast region of southern Mississippi. Typically, the bacteria are a tropical and subtropical climates, especially in parts of Southeast Asia, Northern Australia, Central America, South America, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. This bacteria can cause melioidosis, a rare and serious infection that spreads to animals and humans through contact with contaminated soil, via cuts, wounds, mucous membranes, breathing bacteria, or eating or drinking, the soil that is. Worldwide, the disease is fatal in 10% to 50% of those who become infected. That's a big gap between 10 and 50%. Might as well just say 50%. Just kind of interesting. I thought that was a really interesting article that somebody sent to me earlier today. And it just made me think of the past things that I said revolved around bacteria and diseases and new outbreaks coming. Again, nothing to worry about. I'm not feeling like worrying about anything. The only thing we should be worried about is what I said in the beginning. Worried about making sure that you're nurturing yourself and taking care of you, and not focused on everybody else, especially with hatred and judgments and all those things. Let's talk about crypto for a minute. I know lots of people love when I talk about money and crypto. I don't have a whole lot, but I have something really important that aligns with predictions and some more additional information to give you and new predictions. So crypto, I told you that to be aware that they're going to make them all disappear and that there were going to be hacks and millions of dollars were going to be taken. I've said it, it happened. I said it again, it happened, and I'm saying it again because it just happened again. Hackers drained nearly $200 million from crypto startup in free-for-all attack. Hackers drained almost $200 million in cryptocurrency from Nomad, a tool that lets users swap tokens from one blockchain to another in yet another attack, highlighting weaknesses in the decentralized finance space. Now, you see how they do that? The highly weak, very weak, decentralized, because everything's centralized. The banks are all centralized banks that are in control of everything. They're putting this out there. Oh, it's so dangerous. I wouldn't even doubt the story isn't even true. Like, seriously, I wouldn't even doubt it. I didn't look deeper into it, but nothing like saying, oh, don't do crypto. And again, I agree, don't do crypto because their plan is to crash them all and then make their crypto the number one in the world crypto, which I don't believe is going to happen for quite some time, but you need to be aware of your crypto if you have it. Now, let me tell you what I got on information from Spirit today. Even though Bitcoin and another one recently witnessed a rise in the currency in Bitcoin, and I forget what the other one was, it will continue to rise before a huge fall occurs globally for both cryptocurrencies and stocks. Getting aboard with just a handful of currencies, there's only a handful that you'll be able to get aboard early when it all drops, because it's all going to drop. So remember me, those who do those markets, when it all drops, there's a small handful that you can go in and buy and become extremely profitable soon after. They're going to drop first. You got to buy them. Then they're going to go up significantly and be extremely profitable. But as long as you cash out soon as it arises, that's the key. You got to wait until it arises, until it all drops and then jump in. And once it rises, it's only going to rise fast and quick, Spirit said, and that's cash out before it all drops even lower than it started. This could even be this month because we are in that 8 vibration, which is definitely focused all about money, finances, and so forth. So lots of ups and downs with the markets this month. Iran just threatened to blow up New York City. Did you know that? Yes, they did. Not that it's funny, but what I find humor in, not that it's really humorous, but they just threatened to blow up New York City only weeks after the city put out that public announcement video showing people in New York how to prepare for nuclear attack. I talked about that a couple of weeks ago on the show. Remember that? They did this whole public announcement, video showing people exactly what to do in an event in New York City of nuclear attack. And now, a couple weeks later, suddenly Iran is threatening nuclear attack or abolishing, annihilating New York City. Iran state media warns U.S. it can build atomic bombs, turn New York into ruins. Iranian state media said in a new video clip that the country has the ability to turn New York into ruins and hell in case of a hostile attack by the U.S. So they're really what this shows is that they're afraid the U.S. is going to move in because Iran's collapsing. They were one of the first to start collapsing with their governments and everything else. And they're hurrying up and threatening U.S. Oh, well, if you do anything, we're going to, especially they just killed the Al-Qaeda leader, dude. So using their intercontinental ballistic missiles, CBMs, which are designed to deliver nuclear weapons. The video, which was translated into English and shared on Twitter on Sunday by M. Hanif, and I can't say his last name, Jazayiri, detailed Iran's purported capability of quickly turn Iran's peaceful nuclear program into a nuclear weapons program in an instant. In turn, the West and Israel's nightmare into a reality. Another nice fear-based article there. I got more information about this though as we move on. New York is in for quite a ride, by the way. That's one of the videos on my list. I have two others that I started to do the recordings for. And I don't know if New York was one of them. I think New York is one of them two videos. Hopefully I'll get them out sometime this week, hopefully, in between clients and such. But New York is in for quite a ride. I've said it before, in the coming months, but also over the next year. This includes something I said and predicted a while ago, that I saw taxi cabs underwater, just a little tiny roof popping out. Streets totally underwater. New York is a target, and those targets are placed by more than one party. So there's lots of parties out there that would like to see bad things happen in New York, specifically New York and DC, but New York is the biggest target. A huge event in New York shuts down the market exchange for several days. I don't know what that event is, but in turn, crashing our country deeper into that recession, or more likely a depression. So I don't know. The first thing I thought of, and this is way off though, like months away, was a gigantic blizzard that put it all out. That was my first thought. But again, I try to stay focused on the month and the near future. Not that that works. It's hard to keep a timeline with predictions, but let's move on to the solar storm that I actually predicted a while ago. I said it maybe last week's show in the beginning, in the intro. If it wasn't, it was the previous week. A solar storm emerging from a hole in the sun will hit the Earth on Wednesday. It is expected to be a rather weak one. Well, that's the weak ones before they build up even stronger. The peak of the solar cycle is expected to happen in 2025. I didn't read that earlier. The peak solar cycle, 2025. And then I say that 2025 to 2032 is tribulation. I did a video on it. Make sure you check it out. Solar debris can take up to 18 hours to reach the Earth. That's all. I thought it'd take longer. The expected impact of the storm will be minimal. But remember what I said in past predictions about solar storms and about how that was actually going to affect people, your mood, your emotions, and cause the bigger uprising to occur. Because the uprising started already in different countries. Look at the Dutch farmers fighting to get everything back and their rights to farm. So interesting, right? So the Earth's wobble is also interesting, and I don't know where that article went. Right, I got it over here. The Earth is wobbling. There it is. There it is. What on earth? What is Earth's wobble? July 29th, 2022 was the shortest day ever, sparks fears of a devastating effect on time. July 29th, the Earth experienced its shortest ever day, which was only 1.59 milliseconds less than 24 hours. The planet was recorded its shortest day on record, leading to panic among experts and scientists. A minuscule 1.59 milliseconds was shaved off the normal 24-hour rotation on June 29th due to the planet's wobble reducing, as per sources. Now, Spirit showed me today that the Earth is accelerating. So maybe it slowed down for a moment, but it's going to accelerate, and that that 1.59 milliseconds isn't going to matter anyway. We'll get that back soon, especially as we start to see these sun flares coming in. So let's move on a little bit from stories to my predictions for, I already gave you a whole bunch, but let me go into my specific predictions, starting with number one, the collapse of both Colombia and Argentina. Government, along with so many others like Panama and Sri Lanka, it's going to be, again, a collapse of both the Colombian and the Argentinian government. That falls alongside of Panama and Sri Lanka. This will spread globally like a plague now through the end of the year. Total new governments in some countries, while several collapse completely, sending new crowds of refugees towards new land. Just not from the typical war refugee effect, but instead a collapsing of government effect that has citizens seeking refuge elsewhere. Speaking of refugees, Not sure, excuse me, if this is from refugees or a protest, but I had a vision earlier today of a huge crowd of people pushing through borders. They look like borders to me. And huge crowds of people just pushing and pushing and then knocking everything over and getting through. They got through in the vision that I had. But the sad thing is that this is likely in Europe too, by the way. I heard gunfire and I saw people fall to the ground as folks attempted to protect their land from trespassers from the other lands. So again, those who are on the opposing side that gets crashed into start to shoot and fire amongst these people in an attempt to protect themselves and their land, so they believe, but really they're shooting innocent people that are just looking to spread out. You know, what do you think our ancestors did? They went from place to place, especially look at the indigenous natives. They never stayed in one place for long. They would pack up camp and move to a new camp. It's better for the earth. That's one of the reasons they did that. Speaking of refugees, oh, I said that one already. Through borders and other lands. Rough waters ahead. Rough waters are ahead, and I mean in the sense of both ocean and rivers, but also literally like rough waters are ahead for the whole planet. But Spirit showed me a vision today of churning seas and huge waves coming from beneath the surface. It was really interesting. It was like gushers, almost like an explosion beneath the sea, which would likely be more likely an earthquake more than anything, right? I see waves that shake ships, big ships, violently. And now I'm getting another vision of this because I see a shipping container, a ship with all them shipping containers on it, tipping over and all the containers falling off into the ocean. I don't see the boat flip over completely, but I see shipping containers going off. That looks like quite an ordeal. And the vision that I just had, that's why even in the written predictions that I put on Subscribestar, things come through while I'm talking to you. So that's why it's always good to make sure you tune in every Tuesday and to other stuff that I put out there too. But I saw waves that shook the ships violently, while some of them were overturning, and I saw boats sinking to the surface of the ocean, that is, the bottom of the ocean. So something's going on with the ocean soon, something big. And I think it was a combination of many things because I saw these big waves coming. Spirit shows me problems coming up around Costa Rica. That's an odd one I don't really get much about. Costa Rica, many problems, first from storms, floods, and even nearby earthquakes. But I see some type of travel restriction in place, or more like tourists begin to avoid traveling there. So we'll have to see what's going on with Costa Rica over the next few months. People are already taking the streets in Germany, as I said earlier, for their Democracy Day, and to resist that Agenda 2030 plan. This will soon spread to other places like France, the United Kingdom, and Poland. So remember that. Remember me telling you that. Hey, I need some more tea. Yogi. Positive energy, sweet tangerine, my favorite. Problems arise out of Panama and the Panama Canal, both. Well, they're both connected. Possibly that there will be some type of temporary shutdown of the Panama Canal. I also see a vision of some type of huge fire or an explosion, or both, an explosion that leads to fire in or near the Panama Canal. It almost made me feel like there was like something blowing up in the middle of the canal, almost sabotaging the canal. And that would do anything they could do, of course, to cut off imports, especially food and water, to the rest of the world. Now, we know their little evil agenda. We know what's happening with the food. I've been warning you since early 2020 to stock up and be prepared. And I still put that warning out to you all. Especially, I mean, look, Panama Canal will be interesting to see what goes on with that. But also, Panama is going to have a fall happen, and it's probably related to that. A great shaking is coming to the United States as well. United States and part of Canada. It just popped in my mind as well, but this focuses on United States right now, which I just totally didn't spell that right. And I'm not talking about a shaking as far as earthquakes, although I will talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Although it will feel like one, when the entire country and its political system is shaken at its core like never before. Again, the great shaking will come to the United States. And that great shaking is not an earthquake, even though earthquakes are coming. That great shaking will feel like a quake when the entire country and the political system is shaken up to its core like never before. Remember what I said? I think it was last week that I saw like the Senate like going on strike or something, or people not showing up, like a big controversy over the Senate. So I feel like this time's all approaching, especially with everything that's happening. Oh, excuse me. With the what do you call it? Astrological stuff, the numbers, all of it. There's just so much aligning. That's why it's important to hang out every Tuesday with me. Don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you for hitting that like button. I love you. So I deserve a like. Moving on to JB. Mr. Biden's health, I talked about it many times, is obviously failing greatly. And soon, not even, this was funny when Spirit said this to me today. Soon, not even his wide-eyed body double will be able to help him keep power. This is a 9-month for Biden in numerology. And 9 months are all about endings, death of cycles, letting go, and clearing of things. I would be shocked actually if he were to survive and make it to January of 2023. I would be shocked. I won't eat crow, but I'll be shocked. Spirit shows me JB taking a really bad fall, actually. I mean, this was bad. It reminded me, it was bad. Really bad fall. And we know he falls all the time, but this fall is really bad. And I feel both when Spirit showed me him falling, I felt like it was both a literal fall, like an actual fall, and a metaphoric fall, meaning the fall of his power. Hallelujah. So this is going to bring hospital stay that may send him from the hospital to hospice. I also saw him being in a coma. And I don't know if it's an induced coma or not. And they will fake it off. They'll play it off forever until it gets out and it leaks out, because it will leak out. We already know, like if you watched, I watched something. I'm like, that is not Joe Biden. I don't know who that is. That's certainly not him. Like, you could tell. And it's not a clone, by the way. A double maybe, or somebody with a mask. Even the voice didn't sound like him. It was really creepy. You all know what I'm talking about. Whatever that video was I watched, I was like, that is creepy. Anyway, his power is going to fall. They will work really hard to hide everything. Everything, Joe, they're going to try to hide. But by November, great truth can no longer be hidden, according to Spirit. By November, at the latest. So November is the latest, but they'll probably suppress it as long as they can until then. And Joe probably will be out of sight and out of mind come October. Maybe even come November, actually. So remember me. Moving right along. Remember I previously predicted about Kamala Harris. And I told you that I saw her taking an oath. This was a while ago, like a long while ago. Sorry, I just messed everything up. It was a while ago that I saw that. And it came to my mind again today. But I remember Spirit saying there would be a shakeup and that she might not end up there at all. But today, it just felt like it's heading in that direction. They already have it planned. She already knows, and she can't wait for it to happen. But at the same time, I'll get more information about her in the future. But at the same time, going back to my predictions about like resignations and assassinations, I don't see her being there. Like, I have a hard time seeing her there in that place at all, as taking the power. And if she does, I can't imagine that would last very long. But there's not that much long left for them anyway. Anyway, speaking of crooks, let's talk about Nancy. Nancy. She's a Nancy Pelosi. And I told you about her. I told you she wasn't going to be in power long. I told you on New Year's Day in my New Year's Day predictions. Seems Nancy's health is also failing. That's probably all the alcohol she consumes and the pills she pops. As much as Pelosi's attempt to keep that health issue a secret, karma is coming to the Pelosi family. And so are the authorities, said Spirit. I'm like, oh, yeah, really? soon after she resigns from her platform. So some kind of resignation's coming around the corner for that. That'll be interesting. And they'll play it off, but it'll be a combination of many things. Her health, her screwing. She's going to screw something up really bad in the near future. I don't know what it is, but Spirit's telling me that now, like something big, she's going to like really screw it up for herself more than anything. Let's move on to earthquakes. And a huge uptick in seismic activity is heading our way during several upcoming cycles. One being the energy shift that will begin on September's full moon, and that will last about 15 days of intensity. That's the energy shift, which I'll talk a lot about, especially when we get into September. These cycles will cause magma to boil over, in turn bringing into fruition one of the great volcanic eruptions that I predicted months ago. And we also have two eclipses coming, one in October and one in November. So we can expect to see huge earthquakes taking place globally, almost as if no one will be left out of this great shaking as far as the earth shaking is concerned. So it's going to be everywhere. There's going to be an uptick that's going to be bizarre, like probably freak people out too. Because like Spirit said to me, there's going to be very few places that aren't affected. Like everywhere is going to shake. Several quakes running deep through South America I saw today. I did a little map scrying, technique that I tagged. This will bring quakes to Peru. The South America one that they showed me deep in South America, across South America, Peru. I see another going through the Mediterranean Sea, affecting Turkey especially. Going back to Peru, Spirit said Brazil too. But I didn't know I said something in my weather video about that. So go check that out, the last weather video. And I will do another video on weather before the end of the month. Especially it means we're going into September and there's going to be major weather events taking place. Major, including quakes and everything else. I see, again, another one going through the Mediterranean Sea in my visions, looking at the map today and affecting especially Turkey. But quakes won't leave out Italy, Bulgaria, and Greece. Spirit shows me another huge quake between Iran and India, setting off many quakes throughout the region. One city in India experiences buildings crashing down and major landslides taking out small villages. The same goes for our beautiful friends in Japan. Be very aware, our friends in Japan, that Spirit is showing me the same area where the great March 11th, 2011 earthquake occurred, which was another thing I predicted back then that affected Fukushima. So Spirit showed me that area on the map today. Not that it necessarily is major, but a quake deep beneath the sea in the same area. Not necessarily the same exact spot, but definitely that part of the ocean. A quake I predicted, and hope that our Japanese friends, that it don't occur. I'm hoping for our Japanese friends that it don't occur, but it likely is going to. I previously predicted a big volcanic eruption that would occur in Japan, which it actually did occur. There were several of them, but it happened, I think, the next day after I said it, if I remember correctly. But Spirit says that will be mild compared to the next one. Again, in past predictions, I predicted the volcanic eruptions that just occurred in Japan. Spirit says Japan's recent volcanic activity will be mild compared to what is yet to occur. The next one, actually, Spirit said the next volcanic eruption will make the last ones look very mild. So I see one volcanic eruption even takes down an airplane. A plane that probably should not have been flying where it was anyway, but that's a vision I had. And I'm not sure if that's the Japan one. I think that's more likely Indonesia and the Philippines, because that just popped in my mind with the airplane going down. It feels to me like somebody's trying to get footage when it pops, when they shouldn't be there as is, because it's like feels like it's starting to activate. When it starts to activate, people usually avoid it. This person's going to go over it, and they're going to pay the price completely, as they likely will perish, I would imagine. Excuse me. La 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 la. United States will experience several large shakings and quakes between now and the end of the year. This includes quakes in the East and the West Coasts, both, and all around the same time, Spirit showed me today. Washington, California, New York, Colorado, and almost no state will be free of the quakes to come. And the seismic activity that all happens at the same time is going to be bizarre. Oh, there's 777 people here. That's my lucky number, 777. Thanks for hanging out with me. I am so glad you are here. JFK, John F. Kennedy, popped in my mind today. But the thing was, is I couldn't tell whether it had something to do with junior or senior, or both maybe. But what I do know is that something somewhat huge is coming in the form of truth revealed around one or both JFKs. I think it's going to all, without a doubt, going to come out exactly what happened, and that George Old Man Bush is the one that, was the trigger puller or sent the trigger puller. That's probably all going to come out. It just kept popping in my mind today, JFK, and I got no information other than that popping in my mind. I wasn't sure which one. I just felt like big truth and something that's going to be revealed that's going to be pretty huge. So it'll be interesting. It's about time, too. I see what Spirit, maybe the person that took down JFK's plane, Junior's plane, will be known to us all and locked up. Because that wasn't no accident, my friends. That was no accident. No. So where was I? JFK. Where'd JFK go? There's JFK. I see what Spirit calls the Great Fire. The Great Fire coming to Italy. I'm not clear how this begins, but I do see buildings in what appears to be a whole city block burning with great fury. Perhaps this is a result of a volcanic eruption. It's the only thing I could pop in my mind. An uptick in weather activity towards the top of the globe as well, with both Greenland and Iceland. Big storms are coming to the islands and splitting a part of a glacier, most likely from an earthquake. Yeah, so in my visions, I saw this great, crack in the ice. And I guess it was a glacier, but up near Greenland and Iceland. And the only thing I could imagine that would do that would be a great earthquake, like not a great earthquake, but a big earthquake. And it would be something that would hit the news stories. It would be a big deal. So, really important. So I see some type of biological weapon being ignited on a city street. I could not tell where I am, but I felt like I might have been somewhere in Europe or the Middle East. And it was literally almost like a box that somebody set and hid. I don't know. That's all I got was something felt biological to me being ignited on the streets, in the city. And the city looked kind of run down. I couldn't tell where I was. But Iran came to my mind, but Iran might actually be the culprit and not necessarily the victim. Probably the culprit. So they are in tight with China, as we know. Speaking of Iran, Iran's going to become a huge problem, especially when they attempt to flex their little old muscles. Problems go beyond their threats, and a run-in with Israel can bring about warlike retaliation. Again, Iran's going to try to flex their little muscles and cause problems that'll go beyond them just putting out threats like I read you earlier, threatening New York. But they're going to have a run-in with Israel that can bring about a warlike retaliation. An advanced technology leak is coming. Advanced technology. It's kind of like free energy that we already know Nikola Tesla invented, and they destroyed it to stop us so that they could make money off of it instead of giving us and the whole planet free energy the way it should be. Then we wouldn't have all these problems, gas problems and all this. It wouldn't exist. But, that's why they took out all of Tesla stuff. But an advanced technology leak is coming. Kind of like, for example, we know they reverse engineer UFOs. So say they reverse engineer a UFO and finally that technology leak comes out. But I mean out. That's just an example. I'm not saying it's UFO related. But this feels exciting to me. It feels really exciting, and it aligns with my predictions from New Year's Day that major leaks and another Edward Snowden is coming. And thank you. Who was that? Sean. I don't know what country you're in, Sean. What country are you in? But thank you for your chat cash. And anybody else that did it, I wasn't really paying attention. But if you sent chat cash through, I am extremely grateful. I should probably put this on live chat. There we go. Yeah, so it felt really exciting to me. Like, this leak is exciting. Like, finally the technology gets released. Like, people find out about this. And I don't know when this is. Hopefully it's this year, but it might not be till next year. We'll have to see. Because next year is a 6 vibrational year. Oh, wait, no, we're in a 6 this year. What am I saying? So actually, yeah, it could be this year. Because inventions and new creations happen around that vibration. So that would be interesting. Maybe September, actually, because September is a double 6. Not a triple, but a double. Advanced technology, and again, major leaks like that of another Edward Snowden that's coming. Important dates to keep in mind this month: August 11th, August 27th, August 31st, and of course, always the 22. I'm always going to put that out, and September 2nd. I'll have more dates for September, but I didn't look at the calendar. But September 2nd popped in my head, so I figured I'd put it out now for August. August, again, dates that are going to be very significant, huge events. The 11th, the 27th, 31st, and 2nd. Now, I'll be back next week before we get to that 11th. So I'll be back on the 9th. So perhaps I'll get more information and we can maybe narrow down, or something I might have said today likely could be happening on one of those dates. It'll be interesting to see where that goes. And the last thing that I have for you all today, besides lots of love, oh, I put my hand over the microphone, sorry, lots of love, is one more thing. The Trumps jump back into the picture, and a pair of them. They come as a pair. So I didn't know what Spirit meant by that, and I knew they were coming back. I mean, I predicted it back 2016 that he was going to run in 2 terms. I have no doubt he's going to come back, no doubt, and likely win and take it all. And I'm sure we'll have lots to talk about that later on in the future. But again, Spirit says they jumped back into the picture, and I saw a pair of them, and I couldn't tell who the pair was. I couldn't tell if it was him and Junior, or whether it was him and his wife. Couldn't tell, but it's almost like they're coming together as a pair. So I don't know if likely, the way I took it as they can't run together, they're family. He couldn't be a vice president. I was thinking one of them coming back and running for one office and the other one, someone else running for another office. Likely his son, but it could be his daughter too. I don't think his wife would be interested, but one of them. Both of them running for different offices in different places. So maybe Florida, we'll have to see. We will have to see. But that, my dear friends, is what I have for you today. And I am so grateful, as always, to have you here. Just my little ET phone home over here. Thank you again, Margaret, for your card and your cash that you put in the card. What's this? Rockefellers once asked, what would... there we go. Sorry. And anybody that put chat cash through, again, I greatly appreciate that, because I couldn't do this without you. Don't forget to check out the newsletter down below. Check out the newsletter because it's new. I just put it out yesterday morning. There's special discounts in there that don't last long, and most of the spaces for that special discount and for the classes are almost full. So check that out. Thank you, Sandra, for your PayPal, right? And thank you, Edwin, for your 777 PayPal. I am so grateful, and you are all so good to me, and I love doing this, and I got so much in store for you this month, so keep hanging out. Check out my Awaken Your Spirit community, where you can get the written predictions on level 2 or more. I'm going to keep putting them out when I can. Group chats, all kinds of fabulous things. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch if you're a Twitch person. I'm not on there yet, but I have a profile on there. Thank you, Melanie, for your chat cash. I love you. Thank you. Yeah, but go on Twitch and follow that page. Once I see a large amount, then I'll start getting things going on there. I got the Streamlabs and subscribed to that and paid for that, so hopefully I'll figure that out. Always looking to grow and do things better. Hopefully my internet connection was better like last week instead of a few weeks ago. I'm working on looking into a new internet, Starlink to be exact. Oh, I just hit that button and it just blocked me out. Sorry. Boop. Anyway, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Remember, more than anything and most importantly, to be the best version of you that you can possibly be by being kind to others as you wish others to be kind to you, because we all know mean people suck. Much love, much gratitude, and have a beautiful day. Spiritman JT signing off, and namaste. Much love.